Good evening, WNBA and women's basketball fans, and welcome to the Late Show. Good evening, folks, and welcome in to another edition of the WNBA 365 Network, your 24/7 365 comprehensive home for everything revolving around the WNBA and the rest of the women's basketball world. Back with you folks tonight, right now with a two-man team up until we do, in fact, get Crystal Thomas into the hangout from the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. But, of course, folks, like normal, pleasure to be joined in the hangout right now by our good buddy and awesome correspondent, Tanisha Stewart, Shorty Mamba 24, also from Los Angeles. Shorty, good evening. Good to see you. How's it going tonight?
Hey, it's been going pretty well so far, except for the team that played tonight, but everything else is going well.
Oh man, Shorty, that's 3 straight losses for the panel in 2 games, including yesterday and now tonight's games here this evening. At this point, folks, of course, Facebook, Twitter, and our live chat box are open for you folks, so feel free to let your voices be heard over on Facebook at facebook.com/WNBA365, or you can hit us up over on our Twitter account at WNBA365, at Calamac3, at ShortyMamba24, or at Pup1010 with the hashtag WNBA365. Or if you are viewing us live tonight, folks, in our chat, viewing us live tonight on the program, of course, you can hit up our live chat box and add to the discussion. Right there in the right corner of your screen, type in your responses or any questions, and we'll, of course, get to those when we have a break in the action. With that, folks, of course, another night, another show, of course, of a poll question on Twitter. But tonight, though, folks, we are asking, though, tonight, another trivia question this evening here on the program here tonight in regards to this evening. Crystal Thomas, who, of course, you will see shortly, of course, is not only a resident athlete of our hangout, but also is a resident military brat with her mom serving over 25 years in the U.S. Army. So the question, of course, folks, is where was Crystal born? Is it in the U.S.? Was she born in Korea, Japan, or in Italy? We'll have final votes and final guesses coming up at the bottom of the hour and at the end of our program this evening. With that, Shorty, only one game night, of course, in the WNBA. Late night game is why we're on here at 10 o'clock tonight, folks, Pacific time. Atlanta gets a pretty big win for their playoff hopes over Los Angeles, 86-81. LA drops back-to-back games once more and continues their second-half struggle here this late in the season for the Dream. Angel McCoughtry, guns a-blazing the night for Angel. 32 points in the game for a Mac. Elizabeth Williams with 15 points, Lasia Clarendon with 13, Bria Holmes with 11, and Tiffany Hayes with 10 in the ball game. Off the bench tonight for the Dream, Megan Simmons, 3 points in her 1 minute of action tonight. Markeisha Gatling, 2 points. Mati Ajivon, Rashonda Gray, and Rachel Holloway, no points. And in a little under 1 minute played, Carla Cortijo and Sancho Little, all DNPs. Coach's decision for the LA Sparks, a 3-man game tonight on the top of the box score between Essence Carson, Candace Parker, and Chelsea Gray. 16 points for all 3 players in the losing effort. Nneka Ogwumike, 15 points. Christy Tolliver with 5, but more importantly, though, keeps her 31-game three-pointer streak alive tonight in the loss. Sandrine Gruda also with 5, Elena Beard with 4, Jantel Lavender with 2, and Anna Dabovich also with 2. Jelena Dublovic, Yevgena Belikova, and On Waters all got in the game tonight for LA. More importantly, of course, LA gets all 12 players in the game here this evening. The game played from the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, California. Total attendance tonight in LA, 6,152. Time of the game, 1 hour and 55 minutes. Officials tonight were Tom Nunez, Amy Bonner, and JB De Rosa in the matchup. No text in the game, no lead changes, and only one time tonight. The game was tied, and Shorty, I believe Mary Murphy on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet Plus as well with League Pass really hit the nail on the head in regards to LA getting close, digging a hole, and having to claw their way out of the game. And when Angel McCoughtry got hot in this game, it was pretty much LA's kryptonite this evening between her and Williams having 2 monster games, Clarendon shipping in 13. The starters, all 5 starters for the Dream as well, Shorty, in double figures. LA, again, slow start, of course, plus Brian Agler as well, Shorty, electing to keep Tolliver and Parker on the bench in the second quarter of the game. And, of course, Parker got hot late, but, of course, again, as well, Tanisha, too little, too late, all over again for Los Angeles in this ball game. Back-to-back losses. Now their 7th loss of the season after starting off with a 21-3 start. So, Shorty, overall final thoughts on the game as a whole. Again, McCoughtry could not miss tonight. And sadly for LA, Shorty, and you, I think, even put this out on Twitter, though, too, as well, was a lot of shots that LA is used to making, those little 5-footers close. There was definitely a lid on the basket for the Sparks tonight, rushing shots, some very, very choppy play, Parker fouling out on top of that as well. But I guess, Shorty, at least for LA, again, like we talked about, though, a little bit last night, or even on Tuesday, was, again, LA, again, showing that, yes, it was too little too late, but, of course, Shorty, they don't go down without a fight in this one. Again, keeping it close, losing by 5 in this contest. But I guess, Shorty, final takeaway, though, from tonight's game, probably, again, another frustrating loss for LA to swallow tonight from their home floor in downtown LA. What do you got?
Yes, it was another game for the Sparks where, they, bury themselves early and then they try to play hero ball to get back in the game. And last game against the Lynx, it was Chelsea Gray. Tonight, it was Candace Parker. With the score in the fourth quarter under 2 minutes to go. At one point, it was 78-60. No, it was 78-76, and they just couldn't chip away. They just couldn't get over the hump. When they went on that run, the Dream responded. And then you have the late game heroics by Candace Parker to try to, keep them in the game and hopefully take the lead. But it just wasn't enough. Every time LA went on a run, the Dream had a hand.
So not only that, Shorty, in this matchup, again, not only that is, as we said, though, you touch base, I touch base, Marion Murphy touch base, of course, Shorty. Again, of LA getting close, but again, only one time the game was tied, and LA never led in the contest either. Was, again, another case, somewhat, again, Shorty, of seeing Los Angeles once more, sort of, again, reverting back to old habits of the previous couple years as to why, again, this year, Short, in spite of their start to the season, that, again, this type of basketball is probably could and very, again, Shorty and Crystal, very will end their postseason hopes and dreams again in either the second round or, in this case, now the league conference finals. We do now welcome in our outstanding correspondent, Crystal Thomas, joining us right outside of the Staples Center in downtown LA at the Star Plaza entryway. Crystal, good to see you. How's it going tonight?
I'm okay. I'm actually better than okay. I'm okay. I'm better than a lot of Sparks fans that was in attendance.
So, Crystal, again, seeing LA once more. So it's back-to-back losses on home court, where LA had only had 2 losses all year on home court, both at the hands of the almighty and perhaps potential WNBA champs again this season, the Minnesota Lynx. Now Atlanta spoils LA's party at home. But again, it was both a bad first quarter, shots not falling, Crystal, and again, getting back in the game, doing all that work to get back in the game, but ultimately letting Atlanta go on big runs, big lead. Crystal, your overall thoughts from the game with you, of course, being there tonight from downtown LA, your final thoughts on the game are what?
I mean, there was a lot. There's a lot of things that I've seen that I'm not going to get into on air. But there's reasons for that. But there was a lot of things. I mean, there was just there was a lot of frustration, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of bad calls on both ends, a lot of dumb turnovers, which led to a lot of fast break points for Atlanta. It was just bad basketball all around, and I think they will be okay. I believe they have a game on Sunday or Saturday, if I can't remember correctly, but I think they'll be okay. I think they'll pick it up. I think right now it's just, I'm not going to call it a slump because it's just 2 games in a row. They picked it up after that long road trip. I think right now they're just going through. I like to call it relationship issues. You know how when you're in a relationship and you and your significant other just argue all the time? I think that's what it is. I think it's relationship issues, but it's not to the point where anybody's going to get a divorce or break up or anything.
Shorty, in spite of what Crystal brought up about, turnovers, in LA only had 9 again, so that's back-to-back games under 10 or more turnovers in the game. But still, though, I agree, though, with Crystal, sloppy passes here and there, maybe some, bad timing on plays, perhaps. They also had 8 steals tonight as well. But again, Shorty, for Atlanta, again, it's all about Angel McCoughtry, 32 points. And this was kind of like what I was hoping Angel would do or would have at least played like when I'd gone to the game in June of this year, when again Michael Cooper sat her on the bench for the entire third and fourth quarter, played 10 minutes whether it was injury or not. But, McCautry, 32 points again, Williams 15, Clarendon 13, and also, like I said as well, Shorty, again, all 5 ATL starters in double digits tonight. So I guess, Tanisha, your final thoughts on Atlanta, at least in this ballgame, getting a pretty huge road win and helping out their record and their number 4 spot right now in the league standings.
Yes, I definitely think it was a great road win for them, and definitely a much needed, win for them. Angel McCautry was spectacular, 32 points, 11 rebounds. Williams, 15 points, 12 rebounds. And then there's Leja also chipped in with 13, 7 and 6. So, they definitely got the job done, especially in the rebounding area where they out-rebounded Los Angeles 40-32. My goodness, that was insane. And definitely, they had the more turnovers, over LA, but it was LA's 21 personal fouls that also didn't help, in their favor. And the Dream is a team that definitely goes to the line a lot. I think they're one of the top teams in free throw attempt rate. So you can't do that with a team that likes to run, likes to get to transition, and also likes to go to the free throw line. Especially, you saw Tiffany Hayes a few times putting her body on the deck, as always, to get to the line, and it definitely served the Dream in this game.
So again, Crystal, 32 for AMAC in the game, again, was rock solid in the game this evening, shot 40% from the field and 50% from beyond the arc and 90% from the free throw line. And as Shorty alluded to as well, Crystal, with about how Atlanta, again, all 5 starters again, folks, in double figures tonight for the Dream this evening. But again, of how Tiffany Hayes also goes out there like she does every night, Crystal, plays a full 40 minutes and goes all out, scraping up knees and elbows and, either giving herself bruises or whatnot for how she plays the game, hard-nosed, aggressive style pace. But again, Crystal, perhaps, Atlanta, probably perhaps their second biggest win of the year, of course, beating LA to end their chance at breaking the 21 start by the Comets in 98 at their place in Phillips Arena. But again, Crystal, what did you see, though, tonight from Atlanta differently, perhaps, tonight as opposed to maybe recent games that the Dream have played perhaps in recent days and weeks?
I mean, it was simple. They just out-hustled LA today. They just wanted it more. They out-hustled LA. They went for everything. They went for everything. They went for everything. They went for every loose ball, every rebound. LA, despite them having some of the 3 best posts in the league, they have the worst rebounding problems I've ever seen out of a team that has a 3-headed monster down low. I don't understand. I do understand. Like I said, they Tiffany Hayes is just a hustler. Like, that's all she does is hustle. She's a good player outside of that, but LA just simply got out hustled.
So, Shorty, now to Los Angeles again. Now, again, Crystal's calling it maybe not really a minor slump, as I probably have alluded to again. So, again, Shorty, perhaps some more so I think I've seen more blame from this game put on Brian Agler for, again, maybe how he probably didn't coach to his full potential. And again, he again allows all 12 players in the game. And Shorty, I know, though, that we are getting to the end of the season again. You want to try to give Parker and Tolliver and Agumake rest. But at the same time, though, Shorty, with how that they've played so far, I'm not still sure, though, if those names deserve any rest in the games right now because of how this team has played in recent weeks, dating back to the opening 2 losses to start off the Olympic break and so on and so forth. But I guess, again, Shorty, I guess if there are bright spots, again, Parker tried her best to kind of be hero of the night, but again, too little, too late, plus her and Tolliver being benched in the second quarter. A lot of things, though, still went wrong for LA, but I guess, Shorty, where do you probably start, though, when you kind of think about what LA did wrong, though? Perhaps is it kind of maybe in a small capacity fall on Agler for maybe his coaching philosophy for tonight's game, again, holding back a few players in certain stretches of the game, plus again getting all 12 players in this contest, along with, of course, Dubovich and Belikova, Dobovich, and also Waters playing tonight as well. So I guess overall thoughts on perhaps the coaching as well in this ball game in your mind.
When it comes to Agler and his philosophy, I mean, it's been the same, philosophy, since he got to LA, dated back to last season. So I definitely wouldn't blame, his system that he has implemented, particularly for this game. There are a lot of factors as to why LA is, in this slump. I think for one, I think what Crystal alluded to a few minutes ago, there are a lot of internal problems that's going on right now. A lot of players are still upset about the previous performance against Minnesota, and it was evident, on the court. Crystal actually attended the game, but from watching it, on TWC, you can see it blankly, on the players' faces or different actions and moves. They weren't as cheery as they've been in previous games. Not too many high fives, and at one point, I think in the third quarter, you see Candace Parker just going off in one of the huddles on, many of the team members. So there is definitely a lot of internal problems that's going on right now. And as for Agler overall, I mean, I think at this point he realizes that, in the team also that no matter what they do, they're going to, finish in second seed. So that's why, he's given the bench more time. He's also sitting CP and Christie. They didn't come off, and they didn't come out with a good start. So none of the players should be exempt. They came out playing terrible, so they were right to be benched. But overall, again, a lot of internal problems that's going on right now with the Sparks.
Again, Crystal, you probably are able to vouch better than Shorty and myself. Of course, we're watching the game on television or on our computers or our tablets or smartphones, and you're actually in the building amongst the 6,000 plus at Stable Stand. And again, for the most part, once more, again, it's probably still a bit of a head scratcher again that, I know if there's only X amount of games left, but again, seeing Agler again deviate from Parker and Tolliver, putting them on the bench for the second quarter, as a minor charge up for the second half, of course, and they try to make that late comeback. But again, I still said last night that I think that maybe Agler should have elected to probably wait till next week to probably give these players some break, a break. Maybe we'll see more on Sunday when they play in Seattle. But of course, Crystal, once more, again, LA, again, not going down easy. Of course, they could have done so like they have in recent years. But again, with this being a different team, again, they came back, stormed back, but again, still fell short by 5. Again, Carson Parker greatly in the way once more. But also as well, Crystal, again, of how it wasn't Nneka Ogwumike lighting the fire this time. It was Parker on the bench lighting the fire and kind of sparking up her teammates, of course, getting amped up and a little upset on that bench, though. That sort of, I guess, kind of got LA back in the mix. But Crystal, overall thoughts on LA's performance, though, from you being there tonight. What is it and why on your final thoughts?
Well, going to the benching of Tolliver and Parker, I can for sure say that, which is what we're also going to discuss off air. I don't think it came from a resting standpoint. No. I'll tell you guys that later on why I think so. But if I could repeat some of the things that Parker has said, we probably wouldn't be live right now. I mean, it was brutal, but it lit the fire up under them. It worked for a little bit. It got them going. I mean, she was a leader. People always question her leadership skills, and she for sure proved today why she's a leader and why she can lead that team. And hopefully, I think they'll get it together. I mean, I think, like I said, this is just relationship issues right now.
So again, folks, the final score, Atlanta over Los Angeles, 86-81. Updated standings now, folks, at this juncture at 10:20 in the evening here, Pacific Daylight Time. Lynx 25-5 in first place now by a game and a half over LA 24-7. But as we said already, the Lynx and Sparks already are locked in for the 1 and 2 spots. There cannot be any change depending on anything that does go wrong, perhaps. New York in third, 20-10. Atlanta now with the win tonight, 16-14 in the 4th spot. Chicago 15-14, Indiana 14-15 in 5th place, Seattle 13-17, Phoenix 13-17, and Washington 12-17 in the league standings at this point. A update too from one of our good correspondents from TJ Sinataro, who said that the Wings are the next team possibly to be eliminated next from playoff contention, should that come sometime soon. At this point, guys, Christy Woolston chimes in, and to get to a point I was going to get to, but of course, guys, on Friday, tomorrow, technically on the West Coast, but Friday elsewhere already. Of course, guys, the 2016 class of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And, of course, guys, WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow.
There it is.
Swoop, there it is indeed, in Springfield, Mass. tomorrow night. Christy Wilson wanted to go around the perimeter. Shorty, starting with you, she is asking, how happy are you to see Cheryl getting inducted into the Hall of Fame on Friday?
You know, I'm definitely happy for her. You know, she deserves it. I mean, she definitely, I would say, she got, you know, the WNBA definitely where it is today. I mean, she became one of the very first marquee names, you know, in the league. She was one of the first players to have her own shoe deal. That's how big she was. That's how monumental she was. So she was definitely one of the players that, you know, put the stepping stone there for the league as far as not only play but marketing as well. So she definitely deserves it, and it'll be a great honor for her.
You know, again, Crystal, you think back to how this has been such a, you know, a extraordinary year in spite of, you know, who may win the title this year, of how special, Crystal, that this 20th season has been for every WNBA fan and every WNBA city, even if you're an outsider like me living in San Diego and rooting for Los Angeles or whatever your prerogative is, folks. But again, Crystal, to see another WNBA great and Cheryl Swoops being inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame on Friday. Crystal, I guess to answer Chrissy's question, how excited are you to see her getting inducted tomorrow in Springfield?
First of all, I don't know why my camera's spazzing out on me. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now to answer the question, sorry, I had a little technical issue. To answer the question, I think it's awesome. I mean, I think, you know, she was a pioneer for women's basketball, and to see people like her and Doc Staley in the Hall of Fame, it makes you know, looking up to these women even better. I'm glad that young women like myself and everybody else who's up and coming have women to look up to and say, hey, one day I can be a Hall of Famer, and not just have to look up to Jordan and Pip and all them who are awesome people as well. But like Shorty said, you know, this chick was one of the first WNBA players to have her first shoe, like to have a shoe. I mean, if that doesn't say a lot about her, then I don't know what does.
So again, folks, WNBA legend, the great Swoop, there it is. Cheryl Swoops going to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts on Friday. You can catch the festivities, folks, live on NBA TV. With that, Shorty and Crystal, 4 games on your Friday WNBA schedule, kicking off at 4 o'clock tomorrow, 4:30, and 8 o'clock on Friday. Starting off, guys, with the Storm and Mystics. You can catch the game live, folks, on League Pass or the Monumental Sports Network, in DC. Go on the perimeter, guys, real quick before we get out of here for the night. Shorty, who you got first matchup, Storm or Mystics?
This is a tough one because both of these teams are currently on fire, but I'm going to give the edge to the Mystics at home.
Okay, 1 vote for the Mystics at home. Crystal, who do you have winning the Storm and Mystics matchup, and why?
Whoa, okay, my bad. It was messing up again. I'm sorry. That's a close game. This game has a lot of implications, but I'm going to go with the Seattle Storm because they have LaJoy Lloyd and Washington doesn't.
All right, so Shorty's going to be a woman on an island here, as Crystal, myself, and also Christy will all pick Seattle on the road for the first matchup. Next 4 o'clock game, guys, Sky and Fever from Bankers Life Fieldhouse on League Pass, Fox Sports Indiana, or the U2. Tanisha, who you got?
This one, I'm going with the Fever, you know, because as of right now, we really don't know the circumstances with EDD. As we, you know, previously heard, it was a thumb injury, but we still are not sure whether she's going to play or not. So for this one, I'm going with Indiana.
1 vote for the Fever to hold home court. KT, what about you?
Fever by like 3 to 4 points, because again, like Shorty said, we don't know exactly what's wrong with EDD's thumb, and losing EDD was pretty vital for them in that game, and we saw what happened when they got blown out by Washington. So I'm gonna say the Fever.
All 3 in favor for Indy to hold home court. 4:30 game, folks. Sun and Libs from MSG on both League Pass and MSG Network. Shorty, who you got?
Oh my goodness. This game is going to be close. Initially, everyone would say the Liberty, but the Liberty has been not themselves for quite some time, and Connecticut has been surging. I'm going to take a chance on Connecticut.
All right, so Shorty's going to gamble and roll the dice on the Sun to take home court away from the Liberty in the Garden. Crystal, who do you have?
See, that's a tough one because I can see the Sun doing exactly what Shorty said. Um, mm, I'm gonna go with Connecticut question mark.
The ever-famous question mark from Crystal Thomas. Give me New York in this matchup on home court. Christy's going to go with New York as well, so 4-4 there. The last game, guys, for Friday night, the Battle of the Lone Star State, Wings and Stars at 5 o'clock only on League Pass. Shorty, who you got?
The Lone Star matchup, aka the Lottery Bowl. This one, oh my goodness, this is tough. But okay, I'm gonna go with the Wings.
One vote for Pegasus the Horse. Crystal, who do you have?
It was Dallas versus who? I couldn't hear.
Antonio.
Ooh, boy, really, Dallas.
I'm going to fly like an eagle to the sea. Give me Dallas in this matchup. Sorry, Marquez Anderson, if you're watching this program at all. But again, folks, your Friday schedule once more. Seattle at Washington at 4 o'clock Pacific on League Pass or Monumental. The other 4 o'clock game, the Sky and Fever, also at 4 o'clock on League Pass, Fox Sports Indiana, or the U2, 4:30 matchup, Sun and Liberty on League Pass and MSG. And then at 5 o'clock, Dallas and San Antonio, also at 5 o'clock, or at 5 o'clock on League Pass only. With that, guys, of course, we will actually kind of talk briefly a little bit about what's going to be coming up, though, folks, on Sunday. Of course, guys, Sunday, we will have a kind of a dual night program, guys. Of course, Shorty and Crystal, of course, Sunday marking 15 years already since the very unfortunate events of 9/11/2001, with 6 games on the schedule, the first time all year. I believe that the WNBA will be playing all 12 teams. But Shorty, I think we'll probably save it, though, for more on Sunday. But I guess, Shorty, to know, though, that 15 years has gone by since one of the biggest, disasters or tragedies in all of U.S. history, of course, is coming up on Sunday. I guess, Shorty, you got to think about 9/11. I guess, what kind of comes to mind. We'll have more about this on Sunday after we have our full show. But I guess, Shorty, I guess what kind of comes to mind. I guess when you kind of think about the events of that day.
Initially, the word that comes up is fear because, when I woke up that morning and saw what was happening on the news, so even though it was just, happening in New York, I was scared all the way from Cali, like, oh my goodness, what's going on, or, the hijackers are going to come here and whatever the case may be, but also bravery as well, because, a lot of the brave men and women in blue stepped up, when the time happened, and they kept everyone safe and protected everyone. So that comes to my mind when thinking about September 11th.
And again, Crystal, with this kind of being tied into our question again of our trivia question again about what about you, of course, being being a military brat, and I guess, Crystal, I think it probably hits home with both, probably more with you, of course, with your mom serving for over 25 years in the U.S. Army, and again, we salute your mom for all she's done for our great nation. But I guess, Crystal, when you kind of think, I guess, about that whole day, 15 years ago on Sunday, I guess what kind of comes to mind for you, though? I guess.
I was young at the time. I really didn't understand what was going on. I just knew that they were just like, oh, you guys don't have to stay at school all day, and it was a little weird. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I really didn't know what was going on at the time, and my mom explained to me, and now that I'm older, just it sucks, and I feel bad for all the families and friends who were lost that day, and I mean, it just sucks that there's people in the world who would want to do stuff like that to anybody, not just our country, but just in general.
Yeah, I think I agree with Shorty in regards to the words being, kind of fear and panic, and then more so courage and bravery for those, brave souls that, of course, we're on the front lines, police officers, firefighters, what have you, of course, either going into the Pentagon or the World Trade Center again and doing their due diligence and their best to, of course, try to save anybody that may have been there. But folks, will have more about that, though, on Sunday, of course, following our network program for a special edition of the network. Of course, on Sunday, we'll, of course, talk more about 9/11 and kind of like where we were at, I guess, more in a bigger, in a broader picture and spectrum come Sunday following our coverage or as a special show this upcoming Sunday night. With that, though, folks, we'll now get to the final results of our Twitter poll question of the night. Again, it was a trivia question this evening, and again, it was aimed at Crystal Thomas, of course. And the question tonight was, again, with Crystal, as I mentioned, again, her mom serving over 25 years in the U.S. Armed Forces. Of course, which country was she born in, with her being a military brat? Well, looks like people got it right, Crystal and Shorty, in case anyone's wondering. 40% voted for the country of Italy, and that is the right answer. Crystal was born in Pisa, Italy, back in February 1993 or 94. 25%. It was a tie for the U.S., Korea, and Japan, all at 25%. Italy, though, is the winner. So, Crystal, you actually told us about that last night, and you said they had a trivia question. So there you go. There's your trivia question, and probably an interesting fact that no one knew about you, perhaps.
Yeah, you made me younger. I was actually born in '93, but I'll take '94. You know, people think I'm a child anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I was born in Italy in 1993. It was a fun fact. They didn't know that, and it was also a lot of other fun facts that were explained. You know, involving dogs and puppies and stuff. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, I'm a military brat, born in Italy. There's nothing much I can really say about that. I mean, I don't really remember it because I was a child, obviously. But yeah, I thought that'd be cool for you guys to know that.
The more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. With that, though, folks, we will call it a night. Case closed here tonight. Just the hands off. Great night here tonight on the program. Of course, thanks to Katie for joining us again outside of Staples Center following another LA Sparks game. We'll be back with you folks mañana for a freaky, fresh, funky Friday edition of the program with 4 games on the schedule and more gimmicks and more nonsense from us here in the panel. And, of course, thanks to Christy Wilson, who was in our chat box tonight, for your contributions here this evening at this point in time. With that, though, folks, for Crystal Thomas outside of the big office in downtown L.A. and Shorty Mama 24 somewhere inside of the L.A. zip code, Cal McClure joining you folks here from Studio 171 in San Diego. Take care, folks, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night for a Friday night edition of our program back here tomorrow night. Coming back your way here on the WNBA 365 Network, folks. Take care and good night. Bye-bye.